Before we get started, Jordan couldn't be with us this week, and we didn't want to miss 2 weeks in a row, so I'm filling in. The Bombers got the win, but it was closer than they wanted. Winnipeg beat Ottawa 33-21 on Friday night at home to improve to 5-4 and snap a 2-game home losing streak. The Bombers exploded for 20 points in the second quarter, with Zach Collaros throwing for 222 yards in his return. Brady Oliveira was the star, finishing with 154 total yards and a touchdown. Bryce Perkins added 2 rushing touchdowns, while Sergio Castillo hit 4 field goals, including a 56-yarder at halftime. I would say Zach Collaros and Brady Oliveira were pretty important for this win. It was nice to see Zach back. It was just having your starting quarterback back, a calming presence, a guy that knows the game. He's a very smart quarterback. He can read things before they happen. He did okay. I mean, there was definitely some rust on some of the throws, but I think he'll get better as he plays more. It's hard missing a month and then going back in there, not much practice time. And now, at least heading into this game this week, he's had another week of practice, more rep with the guys. So I expect a better game from him this week. But he did okay. You know what? He didn't turn over the ball, and that's all you want out of a quarterback. Oliveira, what a monster game. He had 154 yards from scrimmage. He was huge in the passing game. One thing I'll say is Zach Collaros made a good adjustment in the game. He noticed that Ottawa was backing off in coverage, so he checked it down to Brady Oliveira a bunch of times. And Brady was able to rack up huge yards after catch, lots of missed tackles. One play that stood out to me was 2nd and 17 play when Zach threw like a 3-yard dump pass and Brady broke 4 or 5 tackles and made it a 3rd and 1. That was unbelievable. That got me all fired up. Yeah, needless to say, those two guys were key in this win. And they will continue to be key if the Bombers want to keep winning. But Ottawa wouldn't go away. The Redblacks cut the lead to 26-21 with under 4 minutes left. Winnipeg responded with a game-sealing drive, highlighted by a huge 33-yard catch from Nick Dempke. A win Winnipeg needed, but definitely not an easy one. I think the Bombers' offense definitely showed flashes with Zach Collaros back of being capable of what they're doing. I do think the offensive line struggled. They gave up 4 sacks. I think their age is definitely starting to show. But I do think some of those sacks were on Zach Collaros. He was holding onto the ball too long. And I wonder, too, if the receivers were getting open. So maybe that's a bit of Tommy Condell on the play design. When there's a sack, it's not just on the O-line. Sometimes it's the quarterback. Sometimes it's the receiver, ran the wrong route. Football is the ultimate team sport. I mean, they had a good second quarter. They exploded for 20 points. But they did have a lull in the second half. So that kind of inconsistency against good teams is going to be something to watch in these next few weeks. Because, I mean, you got to be on your game from start to finish. And you got to play 60-minute football. And you can't make a lot of mistakes because these teams will make you pay. As far as the Bombers' defense, very inconsistent so far this year. They made a couple of big plays. That interception on the first drive, I mean, albeit kind of lucky, but that was a big play that kind of flipped momentum. At least they were getting pressure on Jake Maier, a couple of sacks. The secondary still worried me, though. They were giving up some big chunk plays. Receivers were getting behind them. One play in particular, we got kind of lucky. Eberhardt beat our DB, but the ball hit the upright. If the ball didn't hit the upright, that's a touchdown for Ottawa. So you just have to be mindful as a secondary and keep everything in front of you. I've been noticing the Bombers' secondary is really, really struggling this year. But on a positive note for the defense, Willie Jefferson and Jake Ceresna are phenomenal together. They're actually at 6. They're actually up there for the lead in sacks. And I would say the D-line is definitely getting a lot more pressure than they did earlier in the year. But it's the secondary that has to pick up the slack a little bit. They have to tighten it up definitely against these tougher teams coming up. Are the Bombers actually turning their season around, or is their inconsistency in the second half still a major concern? I would say it's still a major concern. I mean, on offense, they explode for 20 points in the second quarter. Then the third quarter, they kind of go on a lull. They don't do much, 2 and out, 2 and out. You can't do that against good teams. You have to be on right from the opening kickoff all the way to the end. And for the defense, too, my biggest concern heading into this stretch is the secondary. Can they hold up against these lethal passing attacks? Because Edmonton, Montreal, and Saskatchewan are lethal offenses. All three of those teams are really going to test our defense and our secondary. I would say it's still a major concern. It has been all year, the Bombers' inconsistency. Who is the best team in the CFL right now? The 8-1 Montreal Alouettes or the resurgent Edmonton Elks? I would say the Montreal Alouettes, without a doubt. When they went head-to-head, Montreal outclassed them. I would say just Montreal's a complete team. They have a good defense. I would say they have the MOP frontrunner and Davis Alexander. They can run the ball. They're lethal in the passing game. And I mean, Noel Thorpe, the defensive coordinator, he always has those guys playing well. Montreal definitely the Grey Cup favorite at this point in the year. But it's interesting when those good teams play each other, you see who really separates from who. Are these next 4 games the turning point of the Bombers season? I would say so. You got to win a couple of them. If you go 0-4, you're done. You're either looking at a crossover or you're not going to make the playoff. This is a really big stretch for the Bombers, and it's a good test. We can't make mistakes against these teams. If we make mistakes, we're not going to win. You have to be on right from the start against these good teams. It's definitely a key pivotal point in the year. After beating Ottawa 33-21, are the Bombers officially back on track? Or did this game expose the same second half problems that could hurt them against tougher teams coming up? I definitely think it exposed some of the weaknesses of this team. Just the overall inconsistency. The secondary is a major concern, giving up big plays all year. The offensive line, they can't protect. Some of the bright spots I'll say, though, is Trey Vavel, unbelievable this year. Willie Jefferson, unbelievable. And I would say, Nick Dembski and Ontario Wilson are doing their thing. And how about Brady Oliveira? I mean, that guy is unbelievable. The Bombers are 5-4. What's the biggest question you still have about this team? Let me know in the comments below. My biggest question is honestly on defense. Coming up, playing these tough elite teams, how will the defense hold up? It was just me this week. Jordan had another commitment he had to attend to. I wanted to fill in because we missed last week, so we don't want to miss 2 weeks in a row. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys next week.